Welcome, boys and girls of all ages, to Open Crowdsource Season 2, Episode 2. Hi, I'm Troels, which is how you pronounce my name for those of you who don't live in Denmark, and why would
Yes.
you? I am joined, as always, by my two esteemed co-hosts. One of them is named Frederick. Hi, Frederick.
Hello, it's actually Frederik, but hello.
Whatever. And I'm joined by Gareth.
Garrek is how it's actually pronounced. Yes.
In Klingon,
Gara.
yes. Mr. Clarkson. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Slightly better now.
And we are also joined, as always, by a special guest contestant all the way from the surface of the sun. Allow me to just read out an introduction that we have prepared for our esteemed guest.
Can't wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, please welcome at this time the bringer of mirth who proves his worth by giving birth to games in Perth. It ain't about length, it's all about girth. No word of a lie, he's the guy whose game got 8 million views thanks to PewDiePie. His game may be surreal, but the pressure sensor under his butt is very real. And we are not about to cop a feel, although we're sure those buns are made of real Australian steel. Get on your knees and kneel, for he is Jacob G'day Janerka!
Thank you for the very flattering introduction. It's pronounced Kid Janerka. Thank you. It's also done.
Do you have to pull the face as well when you say that?
It's mandatory. If you don't do it, it offends my family.
We'll try our best to do that in more subtle ways.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Janerka, have you any idea what you've signed yourself up for here?
You can do the face. Start again and do the face.
Oh, no, sorry. Janerka. Was that better?
That is much better. You can now ask the question now.
Okay. Do you have any idea what you've signed yourself up for?
Clearly not. I just sign on to things that people give to me, and then immediately, because it's 2 o'clock at night and I want to be sleeping, but I'm on here. Yeah. That's not true. Thank you very much.
We will try to make this worth your while, although we can't promise anything. So let me try to explain just what it is you're doing here. It is a game, it's a show, but it's not a game show. Please remember this. Take notes. There will be a quiz after the show. This is where 4 people sit down with each other and brainstorm the next blockbuster adventure game. And if you're listening to this as a head of a major label or a struggling indie, you are free to take this idea and run with it because, after all, this is Open Crowdsource. So, the rules are simple. The Open Crowdsource machine will randomly select 4 cards containing a character, a setting, a task, and a modifier, and then we have 30 minutes to sketch out a full-length adventure game from whatever it gives us. Some of the cards are plucked from the classic adventure games and movies of yore, some are not. Sometime during the proceedings, the faceless jerk of the game's producer will chime in with a twist that we all have to adhere to and change our design accordingly. Twists come in 2 flavors, major and minor, just like chords on a piano. See?
And penises.
And, yeah. Really? Only 2 flavors of penis? Oh, okay.
And strawberry.
And we can fully expect that jerk of a producer to throw 2 of those at us. 1 of each. That's the one I was looking for. Anyway, at the end of the half hour, a buzzer will sound, and we will recap what we've designed. And by we of course mean Mr. Janerka. We record these episodes live, so people in the chat room on irc.freenode.net /backseatdesigners and on Twitter @bsdesigners, you guys can get involved by suggesting plot points, additions, and, most importantly of all, the title for the masterwork we are about to unveil. Okay, so, is the machine ready?
Well, it's good a time as any to find out.
Let's do it.
Dude, I'm excited.
Is it ready? Is it in fact ready? Let me get the window open here. Right. It took some convincing, but I'm pretty sure that it is in fact ready. I just have to mess a little bit with my audio here
The
because
little hamster in the treadmill just needs to warm up.
I need to buy a new hamster that's not quadrileptic, or however in the hell you pronounce that.
I like the. Looks like she's got like internal organs on the top of her head.
Well, that is the Queen of England, and it's
the Queen of Ovaries.
Yeah, it's either a hat or ovaries or an octopus. I'm gravitating towards a hat, but with her, you never know.
Sorry, what was that, Jacob?
She wears the organs of her enemies.
Yes. I'm still confused about the one on the bottom left on the rightmost card. Is that a bathtub or a crown or?
I think it's a bathtub. I'll ask.
Yeah, we'll call it a bathtub.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Could be an orange meringue.
Or a bathtub filled with orange meringues.
I think it's a slowly collapsing quiche. At any rate, should we see if there's actually something behind those cards?
Well, we should find out if it's crashing. So whenever you guys are ready, just give me the cue.
Q. Also W and Z. Right. A teacher from a land down under must conquer the land armed only with an unsharpened pencil. And who's up for bringing this one in? We do have a man from a land down under.
We do. Do you have teachers?
No. We just we just grow up inside of kangaroos, and the bush and the wild teach us.
That is very poetic.
Bottles. We have beer cans that grow on the beer Australia's trees, and that's how we get our nutrients.
Well, that's fascinating. So, a teacher from a land down under would then be nature.
So so how does that work? Like, are we just brainstorming who the teacher's going to be?
Yeah, we basically have to work out, who is this character? Why must they conquer the land? And why do they have an unsharpened pencil? Are they like the worst teacher in the world?
You got to think about.
It actually makes sense that a teacher would be armed with an unsharpened pencil. Well, what I'm thinking that we could try to figure out is he a historical figure, or is it taking place in the present?
You have to think also, like, what is he teaching? He could be teaching, like, a regular kind of, like, primary school kind of teacher, or he, like, teaches, like, life lessons to kids. Or he teaches.
Oh yeah, he could be like the dojo master kind of teacher.
The Australian Yoda, yeah.
Which would make sense because apparently he's now gone megalomaniacal and wants to conquer the land.
Well, maybe it's conquering the land by knowledge, but he only has an unsharpened pencil, so it's kind of difficult to spread the good word when you can't actually write it down.
When you started talking about students, Jacob, my immediate thought was that they could be his kind of minions to help him with this task.
Yeah, he could get basically like child labor.
Yeah.
Like doing like to like do terrible things.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a bad teacher. Yeah.
Yeah. Is he actually? Is he? Yeah. He's gone. Sorry.
Oh, I just said it. What if it's like Breaking Bad? He's like a chemistry teacher turned meth cook, but you can like do a different direction. So instead of a meth.
Yeah, we do have kind of a Breaking Bad situation on our hand because not that I've watched too much of Breaking Bad, but it is apparently about a former teacher who starts to cook meth and starts to take over the world using meth.
Are you thinking, like everybody is obviously thinking here, then, that this is going to be a cross between Theme Hospital and an adventure game, only instead of trying to keep a hospital running, as your strategy kind of guide, you're using 8-year-olds to push meth.
I guess you could introduce a strategy element to it. It certainly makes sense to have this army of easily influenceable minions.
Oh yeah, I mean, Brutal Legend started out as a action platformy kind of thing, and then turned into RTS. Halfway through.
There's also this point-and-click thriller called Gods Will Be Watching, which is kind of like an adventure, but also an action, very, very brutal action strategy game, I might add. So that's entirely possible. It also makes sense given that it's set in a land down under, because I'm so sorry, Jacob, but you guys do have a propensity for violence, don't you?
I killed at least 3 people before I came on the stream.
Now, I've been to Australia. They are the most mellow people I have ever encountered in my life. I have trouble even envisioning an Australian person get cross, much less kill anyone.
Oh, you've never introduced one to an immigrant then?
I
have to say, yes. It's like, there are some terrible Australians out there who get very angry.
Mel Gibson.
Stop it! He's still not Australian.
Well, anyway, let's try to get into the motivation of this character. Why exactly does he want to conquer the world? Is it because he has a message, or is he just like this Ernst Stavro Blofeld? I just watched James Bond the other night, incidentally. Is he like this kind of character who just wants world domination because toothpaste?
No, wait. World domination is a stretch. I mean, he only wants to conquer the land, and we must assume the land being Australia. Although that's open to interpretation as well. I mean, what would you do with vast stretches of uninhabitable desert?
That's true. Something that Amirat Akago over on the IRC channel suggested is that the teacher is an Aborigine who lords over everyone else because his pencil makes him superior to all others. Almost read that out wrong.
Oh dear God! We had to turn on the offensive button right off the bat, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, actually, we've spent 6 minutes so far, so it's not right off the bat. But I guess that makes kind of sense. What does everyone think of that idea?
Considering the amount of shit that's been going on with Australians trying to apologize to the Aboriginals and most of it not going terribly well, I don't think this is gonna fly.
Well, nothing from this show has so far. So
let's just do what Australia has done for the past 50 years and forget about the Aborigines for for the moment.
Yeah, okay, that's a good plan.
Set the historian, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. And actually, I'm sorry.
Well, actually, it doesn't have to be Australia. It could be New Zealand. It's just a land down under.
Are you going to
must conquer the land, but you could interpret the land as like something kind of like completely different. Like they want to conquer. Like, oh man, this echo on this mic is just tripping me out.
Sorry. Well, use it to your advantage. Add more shroomy type stuff to this.
Yeah. Well, they could want to conquer the personal training landscape, or they want to conquer like.
You broke Jeremy Clarkson.
That's brilliant.
Like, I don't know, something like really mundane. Like he just really wants to get really good at like, I don't know,
figure skating.
Oh, like rollerblading. Like.
Oh, I love that. That's kind of like you could have like this Tommy like kind of thing where he's got all his rollerblading minions.
You know, everyone just gives him shit because he's like a 30-year-old man who rollerblades. And then you're gonna have to do mechanics with like the rollerblade mechanics. Like he doesn't know how to stop, so you have to constantly move the character at all times.
That is actually awesome. So what you've got right now is something that's very different from your classic 2D point and click. Dude, is it like a 3D third-person game where he's just smashing into shit and then you just button mash to have him interact? messing with everything. Actually, you could probably explore the individual rooms like by coming to a full stop if you smash him into a wall.
Oh, you could. I mean, I'm kind of envisioning a Paperboy kind of thing, which is sort of a top-down view, and well, he is on rollerblades, so he won't come to a stop on his own. You have to repeatedly crash him into everyday objects, lampposts, bookshelves, whatever, just to get him to stop and interact with things.
That
could be
actually
like
sounds.
kind of format, but with like more adventure game elements.
Yeah. And I think we can all. I mean, the most obvious profession of his in teaching is, of course, he's a PE teacher who's now stuck on these rollerblades by choice, I guess, because he really wants to go rollerblading.
But what is the motivation for doing that? Does it have to do with why does he suddenly want to be the best to conquer the land? And if he's rollerblading, then where does the unsharpened pencil enter?
Well, we haven't gotten to the pencil yet.
No, but we should definitely go there.
He should be like a home ec teacher or something, and he really wanted the job as a phys ed teacher. So to impress the principal, who always happens to be a love interest, he rollerblading. Like that's the skill that he thinks he has. Like everyone has a sport where they're just like, yeah, I'm fucking good at this. He's really good at rollerblading. And he wants to impress this principal who is a love interest. And of course, you'd be able to change of like what gender or whatever that principal wants to be, depending on your, like it would be like Mass Effect or something like that. That's your motivation.
Okay,
so you want to conquer the rollerblading aspect, but you also want to impress this principal.
Yeah. Okay, so basically we've got a combination of Paperboy and Japanese visual novel going on here.
Wow. Yeah. And I love how you just came up with the tagline, Jacob. It'll be sort of like Mass Effect. It's not a title, but it is a very good tagline.
Okay. I suppose we have conclusively gone to the point where the teacher is not out to conquer the land in sort of a militaristic kind of way. He just really wants to sort of conquer his own little part of... It's kind of a microcosm conquering kind of thing.
Getting good at rollerblading and impressing the principal.
Be using children to his advantage as well. Like that could be like an extra part to it. So you have all these like extra kids on rollerblades, and then it's like a real-time strategy before you start the thing, and you can like place them in different areas. This idea is not going anywhere. But
I think Rolf Harris is going to be flattered by having an adventure game based on his exploits.
Oh. Well,
awkward silence. We're going to cut out that bit, right?
There's an element of this that is a bit like a kind of like a Vince Vaughn kind of romantic comedy as well. I can imagine him using these kids as well to like go and get flowers from the local store while one of them goes to get a box of chocolates to try and impress this love interest.
So do you play as the kids, or do you have like I like how Mass Effect is brought in, because I would say that is more of an adventure game than it's often purported to be. Do you have squad mechanics where you level up the individual kids and you create a squad of children?
What would be really funny if you actually had the teacher was just two kids, like a kid on each other's shoulders.
That is golden.
So it'd be like Day of the Tentacles. You can control the multiple characters, and then basically you'd be able to be controlling the two kids on the body. So like some levels, like you would detach from each other and do this stuff, but occasionally you would have to control the two kids. So like the bottom kid can only like push and pull in like lower parts and stuff like that.
This is great. Multiplayer. We've got co-op mode.
I like where this is going. It has a very sort of Lost Vikings idea to it.
It's very unique, and you could also have different teacher combinations. You know, the kids would have different skill sets, much like the individual characters of Day of the Tentacle. are different. They have difficult goals. They have different goals, different hobbies, different perspectives.
Oh, I know where this is going. Can I just run with Gareth's idea for the Vince Vaughn romantic comedy thing for a bit?
Please do.
Those kind of romantic comedies that I'm thinking of always have this one, I'm not going to say supernatural element, but this kind of really, really unbelievable element to them. So maybe we're dealing with a teacher who's sort of down on his luck. Like Jacob said, he's really just a physics teacher or whatever, or home ec teacher, but he really wants to be, the physical education teacher. So, and he's also got a crush on the principal. One day he discovers a pair of magic rollerblades that makes him amazing at rollerblading. And two of the kids in his class are also really like, "Hi, Mr. Thompson, you are so awesome. Come, children, let us go on this adventure to win the principal's hearts." And then it's kind of like Lost Vikings, where you just start out, I suppose, in school, and you have to get to the principal's office, but there's all these obstacles in the way. Something like that. Story-driven, kind of adventure-y, but also kind of puzzle adventure-y kind of thing.
So once again, where does the unsharpened pencil enter? Because I guess you could have an inventory, and the unsharpened pencil is just what you grab when you start out, because the magic rollerblades won't stop. It's like, let's go on an adventure, and you got surf music playing, and they're speeding down a corridor.
Oh, I know, because we've got three characters that you can control. You got the teacher, who's on the magic rollerblades, which means they can go very fast. You got the other kid, who's this burly, fat kid who can only push and pull, and the last kid.
We have a twist.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to the twist in 2 seconds. But the last kid is one of those weird, retarded, choose the pencil all the time kind of kids. So he's got a pencil, so that means he can like jimmy doors and stab people with it.
Read the twist.
Yes. But we do need to get to the twist, sorry. If Daniel Craig is no longer going to be Bond, he's on the market. Turn the protagonist into a suave womanizer.
That's actually good, because we've already been there. That doesn't actually... well, I like the idea of Daniel Craig in like a... what the hell is it called? A turtleneck sweater, being a teacher.
Oh, sure. Daniel Craig could be a romantic lead. No worries. Except he's not really Australian. He'll have to put on an accent.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's not a real problem to him.
He's an actor, he can do that kind of shit.
It's basically his job.
Yeah.
And I do...
I want to...
Sorry.
No, you continue.
Because you haven't said anything for a while. I thought you might have fallen asleep. But because we are dealing with a romantic... I mean, Jacob is not only from the future, he must have also looked in the cards. So we were already on the path to have this be a romantic, suave womanizer kind of thing, although he starts out kind of inept, and then with the help of these two weirdo kids on his shoulder, he will gradually become the apple of her eye. Okay, over to you, Jacob.
I kind of want to make the idea a little bit darker and have the teacher, like he's in a tragic rollerblading accident, but the kids have to like take over, and that's why they're like dressing up as the teacher. And then you'd have like the multiple like different types of teachers, so like two different kids would create different combinations and certain like good things for that. So you'd have like multiple teachers, but each teacher is slightly different because they have different kids on each other's shoulders.
I like the idea. Just to turn this really dark, could the teacher's body in fact be dead? And the only reason he's in the game is so that the two kids have sort of this flesh motorized vehicle to run around on.
Who the fuck are you, M. Night Shish Kebab?
No, just hear me out. They basically put this dead teacher's body on roller skates, put him in a big coat, in a huge coat, and then depending on whose head pops out of the coat is the teacher that they're supposed to imitate. And once everyone's cleared out of the room, they can hop out from under the coat and solve puzzles on their own.
Maybe the teacher doesn't even exist. Maybe. Sorry, Jacob. Please.
Oh, okay. So you totally make mini games with like the dead body, so the kids have to. So you'd have like. So you'd have to do like gestures or something like that, and you'd have to like press. It would be like quote, but with like a dead body.
So he basically controls like Mech Warrior.
Yeah.
So
you have to like
Mech Warrior.
hold the face. So if you're like trying to say like a compliment, you have to make sure it's like it smiles. So like you have to do that.
Yeah.
Stuff like
But you don't have to make him smile too wide because then it'll start. His skin will start cracking.
As well.
That is lovely.
Wait, can you lock the screen?
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. Let me just do this properly. There we go. Jacob drew a little something, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first time we've had an actual honest-to-God drawing on the show that fits into the concept, and I am totally loving it.
But I think I'm gonna draw the kids on the shoulders and see how it goes. But,
Please do. So what you're doing is you're working out the visuals while we're discussing the plot. I love that, actually. One thing I was going to mention earlier is that if we do a censored version, then we could basically just have the kids nick a skeleton from a biology room. That said, I came up with that idea before I saw your drawing, so dead body it is.
Definitely dead body, and somehow the kids have to sort of prop him upright. So if you gain too much acceleration and momentum, he'll just slump forward. So they just have to sort of balance him while they're sitting on his shoulders.
This sounds like those arcade sequences in Full Throttle where you're going down the highway on your motorbike, except with a dead body just dangling there on rollerblades.
Oh, wait, can we not only make this very dark, as in two kids are wheeling around the corpse of a dead teacher on roller skates, but also highly creepy? It's not, in fact, the dead teacher who wanted to get with the principal. It's actually one of the kids has a crush on his principal, perhaps the slightly retarded chewing the pencils kind of kid.
If we can't do Aborigines, we can't do mental retardation either, and certainly not using that word.
No, but I didn't mean retardation as in clinical retardation. I meant because I just used it offensively. I just meant the slow kid.
Social awkwardness. And,
yeah.
Well, it's very nice to know that you think of me in public school as retarded.
Did you sit and chew pencils and eat your own boogers and stuff?
I didn't do that, but I was pretty awkward.
Well, so was I.
Surely not,
Some probably
no.
did think I was retarded.
I'm sorry for using the word retarded in the way I just did.
Probably pretty awkward to begin with when they were kids.
I'm sorry, Jacob. The first part of your sentence was drowned out by my idiocy.
I was just saying, if you play adventure games and you're a little kid, you're probably socially awkward.
Yeah, that's true.
That is very true.
Yeah. But anyway, I think this took a delightful turn. We've got two weird kids. One of them chews pencils. The other one can only push and pull things because of his enormous size. Wheeling around a dead teacher on roller skates because one of the kids has a crush on the principal.
What if it was like the kids like dressed up in those like black like puppet things? So they think that they don't know like. They think they're like an invisible, like controlling him like a puppet, and people just don't know. Or people don't know like game logic. So like they'll be wearing like morph suits or something like that.
Right, so they're kind of like camouflaging. Sorry.
All these like puppeteering him like in public.
Oh, so the reason that he's on rollerblades is because they can't do the walking properly, and rollerblades is just the easiest way of getting him around.
That is brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. I love it. One thing that I would like to get into is what kind of puzzles you have in this game. We already have the moving mechanic settled. It's been said a number of times that one of the kids is like a big guy, and I guess that we have to do some crate moving puzzles.
Oh yeah, I was definitely thinking Lost Vikings. Oh, sorry, I'm cutting Jacob off again.
Oh no, I was just saying physics puzzles and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I'm seriously Lost Vikings kind of stuff. If you're in a crowded room, you're sort of hiding, trying to pass this dead corpse off as a live person on roller skates, like him going into the teacher's lounge, and you have to sort of act nonchalant, even though he's in a big overcoat on roller skates and he smells kind of funny. But then when you're all on your own, for instance, like you go to the park at midnight because of some awkward contrived reason, the kids can sort of jump out from under him, or just sort of park him in a hedge somewhere, and then go off and solve puzzles on their own, and then you can switch between the characters, goblins style.
I like the Goblins comparison more than Lost Vikings, because I would argue Lost Vikings isn't really an adventure game. It's like a puzzle platformer. If we make Lost Vikings an adventure game, then certainly we'd have to make like Lode Runner an adventure game, and it's not totally out there, but it's quite a stretch, I think.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But Lost Vikings, to its compliment, was very story driven.
It was. It was.
So that's the main comparison I was going for, is that every once in a while you're kind of being led linearly on the string through the plot. This very, very weird plot that we've got going here.
But very lovable plot.
Sorry?
Maybe we should start thinking about the pencil now as well, implementing that into there.
Yeah, let's get into the pencil. I guess it's what they start out with. It's just what they have handy. So I don't think there's like only one inventory item, that being the pencil, but it's probably what gets them started. And what can you do with an unsharpened pencil? I guess they could like Jimmy open a lock or something with it. I'm not even sure they keep it through all of the game. Maybe it breaks as part of their exploits.
They can rewind cassette tapes.
How they do all the puppetry, like all the puppetry handles are like unsharpened pencils, and then like use like move out the face and stuff like that, and like eyebrows.
That makes sense. That
would be just like the internet as a visual style.
Yeah. That actually makes a world of sense, and now that we've got that settled, then we can move on to other inventory items. 5 minutes left.
Yeah, we've got 5 minutes left, guys. I really, really like the idea of the main puzzle of the game is not so much pick up shit and use it on other shit, classic adventure game troping. It's basically moving this guy around and making sure that you're not caught. Because here's an idea: there's a suspicion meter somewhere on the GUI where once. If you get some of the gestures wrong and such, your suspicion climbs, and then over time it dies down again. But if it goes right up to the top, then of course someone comes in and just opens the code and finds these two little awkward kids with pencils all over, sticking up various body parts.
All the pencils fall out when they open the trench coat.
Yeah.
And there's like this naked dead body with like stitches because he donated organs to science.
Okay, maybe we should take a step back and think about where did these kids get a dead teacher from?
Well, they're in Australia, and as Jacob just mentioned, he just killed 3 people. I guess he's up to 5 now. He's probably killed 2 people during the proceedings here, but weird shit happens in Australia.
Oh, can we lock his screen again?
He's drawn again. Let me just lock your screen, Jacob.
Oh, guys.
I am loving the hell out of what you're doing, man.
Everyone who's listening to the audio version of this, you owe it to yourself to look at. We're going to be taking screenshots and posting them on our Facebook and our Twitter, because that is just too awesome.
Okay.
I do have an idea. I know Gareth is about to say something, but the whole where do they get a corpse from? I've got that solved. It's simply a crime of opportunity. These are 2 awkward kids who want to make a good impression on the. Oh. I know we have a twist. Just let me quickly.
Read the twist. You're the host. Read the twist.
All right. The lead artist just quit. Okay, so Jacob, you're out. We don't have much money left. This whole thing has to take place in a single room.
Oh God. Well, I guess it doesn't have to throw us off that much if we just make it a really, really big room that you navigate around.
Well, actually, I mean, you've been talking about quite. Sorry, Jacob, you go.
You continue.
Well, we're talking about quite a complex mechanic involving pencils about trying to make sure that nothing gets too suspicious. It could just be that they have to get through the day with this corpse because they've killed their teacher accidentally. They did some kind of prank with a deadly spider that went a bit wrong. All they need to do is get to the end of the day without anybody finding out that the teacher is dead.
So I guess like the room is like the room could technically be like this big corridor at the school with like open doors everywhere into classrooms and teachers' lounge and that kind of thing. Then we're technically not breaking any
I
rules.
don't know. I mean, if it's an elementary school, so you're a teacher that spends all of their time in the one room. They have a few conversations with some adult teachers. They have to actually give the lessons and everything without anybody getting too suspicious.
That's
I
right.
love that.
They don't actually leave their room. It's not like how Danish classes work, because in Denmark the teachers come and go and all the students stay in the same room. But it's the other way around everywhere else in the world.
Oh, that's actually fortunate.
Yeah.
I think you could. Okay, you go. I'll say after.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking that this is Queensland Primary School, and the nickname of the school is The Land.
Ah, yes. You must conquer
Yeah.
the land. In fact, you must conquer the day. Okay, over to you, Jacob.
Carpe diem.
Well, it could be like we were talking about before, gods will be watching. So it could be just in that classroom, and it would be like going from all the different day events. Like, so when you start in the morning, you have to do it with the kids, and then like you have like a random event where the principal will come inside or something like that. You have to talk to the principal, or like a dog wanders in something like that in the classroom, or like any that kind of stuff.
That is actually very excellent. So the game starts out early in the morning. These two awkward kids come and put a poisonous spider in the teacher's lunchbox. Somehow he gets killed. You can't see why this would happen, but he does. So they panic. They panic and hide under his coat, put him on roller skates, and then the entire day. You basically have to get through the entire day in the classroom. We have 10 seconds. Anyone want to add something? We now have 5 seconds.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was. I thought that was pretty good.
That actually came together in a way that I had not expected. I am very fortunate. I'm very grateful. That's the word I was looking for, to Jacob for introducing the darker elements, because this almost veered off into sugar overload territory. So, would our fancy guest be so kind as to recap what we've just designed as it exists in his head?
Wait, sorry, to me, you asking me this question?
Yes.
So I'm going to recap of what the game is.
Yes.
Okay.
You can see fear in his eyes.
Okay. So we have a game. There's two awkward kids in school who decide that they want to be cool. So they're going to pull a prank on their teacher, and they maybe make it Australian. They put like a redback spider in like the teacher's chair or something like that. The redback spider ends up killing the teacher. So now they panic and they don't know what to do. So they quickly put on his clothes and get on each other's shoulders and see if they can run the school day as the teacher. And then basically, as you go out throughout the day, you're going to have to make sure people aren't suspicious of you. And you have to keep that suspicion meter down as you got random events affecting you in the classroom, such as principals walking in, dogs wandering in, angry parents saying that you're not giving the children the right opportunities in life. We're really so that is our game. A teacher. I don't know a name yet. We'll think of a name.
Yeah, the name. Please, people on the IRC channel, please think of a name for this, or just go to our Facebook group. We will, if anyone comes up with something really awesome, we will of course put it on our social media. But thank you very much for that recap. All of us were completely losing our shit.
Yeah, what really got me was parents raging at this dead body with kids on top for not giving their children good opportunities in life.
That is.
I once studied to be a teacher, and if we don't get our coffee, then the whole dead body bit actually isn't too far off. Unfortunately, I can't rollerblade. Never could, but
Neither can the teacher. Yeah, he doesn't have to roll.
That's true, he doesn't have to. He's, he can just chill out, like literally.
Oh yeah, and we left out the bit where you control bits of him independently with pencils. You basically shove pencils into his flabby corpse and move his arms and face around.
I love how you went into the flabby corpse.
Well, if you want to move an arm, you can't just poke at it with a pencil. You have to shove it right in there.
Oh, ouch! But true.
Jacob, you did a successful Kickstarter for your game Paradigm. Would you consider doing this game as your next Kickstarter?
I actually really like the idea of the mechanics of two kids. I think that's like really funny, and I think someone should do it because like it would be so fun like to do that mechanic when you can like jump off each other or like jump back on. And there would just be so many different like modifiers that you could apply to that.
Mm.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you earlier, Jacob. But I tried to unsuccessfully because of a comment on the RC channel by Mickwell, which I think warrants reading out. Mickwell states that most Aussie teachers look dead on the inside, and you know that's actually a better tagline than what we got earlier. We've got a wonderful tagline, but we need the title. So please, people, get to work on this stat.
Oh my god, just something like dead on the inside. Like it's such a dark fucking.
And the best part is, I know an Australian primary school teacher. He wrote Kids Quiz 2 and 3 VGA by what is it, AGD Interactive.
Yeah.
And yes, he does look dead inside if you catch him off guard without his coffee. But he's a very nice guy. Hi, Daniel.
Yes, hi, Dan.
So anyway, that was a fantastic bit of debauchery. I'm very, very glad that we got through all that. If you will permit, I will just run into our outro spiel, and don't worry, we are not quite done with Mr. Janerka just yet, but I am going to run through the spiel. Now, that is it for Open Crowdsource for this episode. Before we go, we have to throw out a big thank you to Michael Consell, who has very generously donated to the Backseat Designers Patreon Fund, also known as Fred's Cocaine Habit.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you for all the photos of you and your mates watching the show at home. That is, we love that a lot.
Yes. And cheers, mates.
Yes, cheers. And next week we have none other than Upper Memory Block extraordinaire Joe Mastriani on the show, and he's going to talk to us. We're probably going to be designing a game from the DOS and pre-Windows XP gaming era. So please tune in next Sunday for that. And also, thanks to our esteemed guest, Mr. Jacob Janerka. Do you have something that you want to plug at this time? Or any closing arguments?
Well, if you like, there's a website called jacobsittingonhisbutt.com, which gives live updates if I'm sitting down or working on Paradigm, which also makes a GoPro record me, which is just over there, which is watches me every day. But I'll actually plug my actual game, which is called Paradigm, which is a point-and-click adventure game, a surreal post-apocalyptic adventure game set in Eastern Europe with 70s and 80s influences. You should check out the video, and I hope you like it.
Well, we very, very much do. We are, however, kind of disturbed by the fact that your website says that you're not sitting on your butt. So we suspect you might be levitating slightly above the chair. How does that work?
I am just a god, you know.
Oh, well, that's as good an answer as any, I suppose.
A helium arse.
And there's a whole bit about on the website about how he might introduce a Christmas ham at some point, but yeah, please go and check out that website and also his game. It is phenomenally funny. Yes, that is it. You can find this show and all the details over on our website at backseatdesigners.com. If you enjoyed the show, and I don't see why you should, but you could, you can download the home edition of the Open Crowdsource Machine from our website, so you can play the game yourself with your mates. You can make your own cards, your own decks. It doesn't even have to be about adventure games. It's basically just tons of fun at parties. And also, you can check out our Twitter at BS Designers, our Facebook, facebook.com/groups/backseatdesigners. We have a YouTube channel on youtube.com/backseatdesigners. And most importantly, you can find all the links to what I just said on our website, backseatdesigners.com. So, say goodbye, Fred.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye, Gareth.
Beatsies.
Yes, do go and listen to some fat beatsies. And goodbye from me, and I will see you next week. Bye.